All right. Well, Mr. Aaron Pico, about a week removed now at this point from that huge knockout victory that you had. Tell me, you had a little time to soak it in. What does a big finish like that feel like, man?
Definitely feels good. It was a good night for my team and I. I'm very very happy that I'm starting to feel comfortable in the cage, and everything that my coaches and I are working on is paying off. So I'm very happy. But it was a few days ago, so now you know how MMA is. It's always you already start thinking about what's next. So I'm enjoying the best I can, just resting at home and but ready to figure out what's next because it's an ongoing process in this game.
That's it. You never get to enjoy it for too long. Now, I will ask you the one thing afterwards, a little bit of a temper flare in there. So I'm curious, any regret at this point, or is that just a message that had to be sent, man?
No, it was actually, actually that I watched the video. I wasn't actually yelling at his corner. I was actually yelling at my corner, but in a good way. I was saying, yelling at my coach, basically the combination that their corner threw out that we were working on all fight camp, um, and it is what it is. It's fighting, so there's a lot of emotion that goes into it, and yeah, it felt good to knock him out, honestly. But what could you do? It was just emotion. So much that goes into it, and I'm just happy it wasn't me.
Yeah, you get away with that a little bit. So listen, man, you had this amazing 2020, right? I mean, 3-0
Yeah.
this year, looking good. I mean, we know about the camp changes and all that, but what's really the difference? I mean, are we talking about, new techniques that you've learned, game plans? Are we talking about mindset? I mean, what's the key to putting this great year together?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. I think I just finally having time to develop and being around coaches that I trust, and I feel that everything that we're working on is it's beneficial to my style, and I just think it's a combination of everything. I'm in a good place here. I got my home, and everything is just flowing. I just needed time, and I still do. I'm still young, uh, but just being around the coaches and being in the gym, I think everything is flowing well, and I want to keep the streak going.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously a fantastic gym there. I wonder too, Aaron, man, I look at like your social media feed and man, it
Yeah,
just feels like New Mexico is right for you, right? I mean, you've always
yeah.
had this passion for horses and stuff. And I wonder, I mean, I guess that's not really a tangible thing, but do you think part of it is just being in New Mexico and maybe having like a different feel around you and kind of like you said, kind of settling in this home? Do you think maybe some of that peace is some of it as well?
I think so, John. I really do. I love it here from the beginning. The day I first came to New Mexico, I fell in love with the place, and now having my horses, my dogs here. Of course, I love Whittier, California, is where I was born and raised. But New Mexico is just it's just very simple here. It's a very simple way of life. The people here have embraced me, and I feel it's my home now. And I think there's a it's just simple. My life is very, very simple. That's something that people don't. That I don't really have a lot of distractions. I don't. I don't. There's not a lot going on in my life other than being with my horses and being in the gym. So I just feel like I don't really have a lot going on. I live a very simple life. It's very, very easy. I just train 3 times a day and I hang out with my horses. So when you're consistent with something like fighting, you're gonna get good at it, and you have the mindset, you have the coaching. I think it's good. But like you said, the question is, yeah, I believe New Mexico is a great fit for me. I love it here, and I'm happy I found this place.
That's awesome, man. So I think about like where you're at in your career. First of all, it's insane that you're still only 24 years old. That's wild. You're 10 fights into your career at this point. So I mean, you're really kind of, getting to that point now where I think you're understanding the game a little, I guess. So, keeping in mind that you're a simple guy,
Yeah.
do you have any regrets at all that you did this the way you did it? I mean, the being in the spotlight from day one, from moment one, the expectations that were placed on you, man, it was like it was impossible. I don't know. You would have had to have like 5 world titles right now to live up to what people thought. So, at this point in your career, are you comfortable with the way things went, or do you think like maybe I would have done things a little bit different if I could do it all over again?
Of course, you're always looking back and saying, "Man, probably the fights I took were a little risky. Even the fights that I did win, it was a little bit. Now looking back, like shit, those were some tough guys." Yeah, I think of course you can always do things a little bit different, but it worked out. It was supposed to, and the team that I have now, I'm so happy with. I met Ali. He's been a great help to me and the coaches. But it sounds crazy, but I don't think now looking back, of course you can say I can do things different, but I'm happy the way everything worked out. But yeah, you're right. It was kind of crazy. The people that I was fighting and I had everything. I really did have everything. It's just MMA is just different. It's just a different beast. It's not wrestling. It's not boxing. It's not jiu-jitsu. It's fighting. So um, shit happens, and I'm just happy I learned from it, and now we're on the right track.
Yeah, no doubt. Talk to me about. Can you think back to that pro debut and like what you thought you knew about MMA now? I mean, like, can you tell me how much different like your understanding of the game is now versus what you thought you knew? I guess back then.
I didn't know shit, man. I really didn't. It's just different. I can't really explain it. I don't really remember anything that really happened. I don't remember. I don't remember warming up. It just was just. I think like when things are like happening so fast, I just was a rookie. I didn't know anything, and then yeah, it's hard to answer that question because I look back. I say, shit, that's crazy. That's crazy. And you know what? Even the guys that I did fight and things like that had like way more experience. I mean, even my second fight, fighting Justin Lin, just I remember just being like, damn, I'm not comfortable. You know, like this is crazy. You know, I'm not. I don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. Like things I've been training and now is I just wish I would have known back then. But the only thing is just time and just experience. It's just you can't. But I always keep that in my mind. Like I don't let myself get out of check. Like I don't. I keep myself in check all the time because now I know what it's like to lose, and I know the feeling. And I don't want to get too high. I don't want to get too low. That's something that Greg always tells me: just stay in the middle and keep working because I've said it before. It sucks to lose, and I don't want to. In this game, you can be like, oh, I'm on top of the world, and the next fight, you feel like you're at zero. So I'm just going to keep a cool head. I'm very happy that I won. It was a tough opponent, I believe, and we're on to the next one.
Like you said, man, you're constantly moving forward. I mean, every time we ask you what's next, who do you want next, so you don't even get one night to enjoy it. You know what I mean? But what are the plans? I mean, obviously this was kind of a reset year for you, I think, and it worked out fantastic. What do you see for 2021? I mean, I'm assuming you're not trying to squeeze anything in before the end of the year. I'm open, but maybe you will. I don't know. But what does 2021 look like for you? Have you guys started mapping it out with your team?
Hopefully I fight February. I want to fight in February. That'd be nice, but I just gotta stay focused. I know that there's a lot of guys that I can fight. 145-pound division is just is stacked in Bellator, but we'll see. I definitely want to get some rematches. I want to fight Henry Corrales. I want to fight Adam Borks and even Zach Freeman. I feel like I can beat those guys. I really can. They know I can beat them, and we'll have to see. But just keep the ball rolling.
I dig it, man. That'd be some great rematches for sure. You keeping an eye on the Featherweight Grand Prix, right? It's been some pretty exciting fights. Are you watching that? And I don't know, maybe got a little rooting interest in there, I imagine.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I really am. I'm really excited for Darren Caldwell and AJ. I think that's going to be a great fight. I think AJ will beat him though. Just because he's a good martial artist. He's good from everywhere. He's good off the back. He's good. He's got a bunch of funky, crazy spinning stuff. But I think AJ will win. He's a friend of mine, and I think he's going to do great. If anybody can beat Patricio, it's going to be AJ.
Yeah, I hate to cheer against anybody, but I think that's the finals matchup a lot of people want to see, man. I think that would be a fantastic fight.
Yeah, for sure, I think so. We'll have to see. MMA is crazy. There's so many things that can happen, so many variables, but that's what makes the sport exciting. We'll have to see.
I dig it, man. Well, talk to me about your future, Aaron, because again, as we said, you're still young. I feel like you're just now getting to that point where, like you said, you're finally starting to learn what you didn't know. You know what you didn't know. So give me an idea. What does success look like for you moving forward? I mean, you came in and this is the greatest guy in the history of the universe. I mean, is it some form of living up to those expectations or some form of, I don't know, getting that back? I mean, does any of that stuff matter to you? Like, what does success for Aaron Pico look like to you moving forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. Of course, MMA, you want to be world champion. That is a big goal of mine, to be world champion, defend the belt. But I also want to get some boxing fights in too. That's something that is a big goal of mine. I believe I'm capable of getting some fights in. But I don't really know. I think just enjoy the process, like they tell me to do. Just enjoy it. Take one fight at a time. Of course, you could have small goals and big goals, but just control what you can control. And all I can do right now is just take one fight at a time. But of course, I want to be a world champion in MMA. I want to defend my belt. I want to go into boxing, and we'll have to see. We just have to take it in stride, and just knock on wood, stay healthy. And for me, I want a healthy career as well. So we'll see.
Nice. Have you started having those boxing conversations with Bellator? I mean, they've always been very supportive of you. Do they believe that, hey, yeah, we'll let you go do some of that at some point?
A little bit. They say, yeah, get some boxing fights in. But that's, of course, MMA is the most important thing. So I haven't really talked to them in a while about it, but we'll have to see. I really do want to get some boxing fights in. That's just something that I love. But we'll have to cross our road when we get there. But it's a big goal of mine for sure.
Nice. That'd be exciting to see. Last question I have for you, and I want to ask you, like, I think about, like, there's all these kids nowadays, right? Like MMA is blowing up, and there's these kids that are studs that have been training, jiu-jitsu since they were 5 and boxing since they were 6. I mean, kind of total packages like you were. So I wonder, what lessons would you give? I mean, is there one lesson that you've learned about this is the right way to do it? Is there something that people can learn from your career so far?
I think the biggest thing I would tell young kids is just take your time. And don't try to rush anything. Surround yourself with a good team, and there's no need to rush, especially in MMA. Not all of us can be like John Jones and fight at 22, 23 years old and fight Vitor's. Not all of us. If there's an opportunity that presents itself, yeah, take it, but don't be in such a rush to, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Just take it one fight at a time and put on good performances, focus on your training, and I think you'll get to where you need to be. But if I could give one advice, it's just there's no need to rush. There's no need to be a world champion at 22. We're not all blessed like John Jones at 23 years old and have the belt. It's taken a lot of the greats some time to get the belt, and another thing is that everybody's path is different. Don't try to be like, I need to be like this guy, I need to be like this guy. Because as soon as you start comparing yourself to people, you start to drive yourself nuts. Because I'm not innocent. I compared myself to people like, well, I should be in that position, I should be in that position. Because it's hard. The world doesn't work that way. Everybody's different. You'll get there when your time is right. But don't try to be anybody. Just be yourself. Surround yourself with a good team. Be consistent, and don't rush.
Well said, man. I wish I was that wise at 24 years old, my man. So
I'm still learning.
Awesome, man. Well, Aaron, always appreciate the time, brother. Obviously, congratulations on a big win, and man, we're looking forward to see what happens in 2021.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.